So there was this alien race, right? The race known as Saiyans. This is a very strong race because the potential is ridiculous. Warrior race. They're a bunch of humanoid-like beings that were raised on a planet that has gravity 10 times that of Earth. So naturally they will be stronger than normal humans, obviously, just from the living conditions alone. One could say there was like space pirates. They was led by this being known as King Vegeta. This evil being known as Frieza ended up blasting their planet away to the point where most of the Saiyans became extinct. And the Prince of all Saiyans was one of the few last survivors. He ends up getting his butt beat a couple times by the low-class Saiyan warrior known as Kakarot that had way lesser power level at birth than him, but thanks to hard work and dedication, Kakarot, or one could say Goku, was able to bridge the gap. They ended up getting cool. In the future, Vegeta, the Prince of all Saiyans, ends up getting a son in the future. His son in that particular future had a dark timeline to where almost everybody died, so he went back in time to help another timeline so they don't have to suffer the same fate he had to deal with all that tragedy. And between jumping from timelines, this version of Vegeta's son ends up getting very strong throughout his adventure. But how strong are we talking? First off is Dragon Ball, and strength is everything. He can do the standard stuff like flight, uses energy to make his punches harder. He has super strength thanks to his inner chi or ki, can shoot energy blasts and stuff of that sort. He's a martial arts fighter when it comes to raw skills. He's one of the few characters that's not afraid to use a melee weapon, like one could say a blade. He will use his sword in combat with his super strength to cut in debris and throw it at his opponent if he has to. One can make an argument his time with the Kais could help him increase. In the main timeline, we saw Goku and Gohan train with the Z-Sword. In this timeline, since Goku and Vegeta are gone, in the future, this possible future that's not going to happen for the current timeline, we can see Trunks training with the sword to help better prepare him for the horrors. He can technically do key techniques like the solar flare to temporarily blind the opponent to get the opening or escape if he has to. He actually learned abilities like the evil containment wave, like a technique to seal up beings that are immortal and you can't kill them, just seal them up forever instead. Underrated technique, right? That allows you to put them in a bottle. Something nobody talks about, but Trunks apparently in the Dragon Ball Super events can actually heal people, apparently. Dragon Ball, be careful, or you're going to make characters like Dende useless, because that's one of the major things about Dende that made him useful. Now they're giving this kind of power to somebody that's already superhumanly strong that can physically fight. That's not fair. But take this with a grain of salt because the anime kind of just ignored this. So who knows if he actually has this in the actual canon anime and manga. We know he does this in the manga when it comes to healing people though. He has a base form, different modes of Super Saiyan 1, ends up maxing out as Super Saiyan 1, eventually ends up getting even higher forms thanks to Rage, but let's get into it. How strong is Vegeta's son from the future? Right off gate, we got to get an idea of how strong he is when he uses his blade with his super strength on top of it. You guys remember the famous feat of Frieza cutting himself up, right? Had an entire planet explode on him while he was cut in half lifeless and still survived. Trunks, Vegeta's son, with his blade when he went Super Saiyan and transformed, cut up Frieza with his slicing, or one could say striking, power. He mutilated Frieza and cut him into bits. Just to give you an understanding of how mighty Trunks is. You guys already know the routine. This being known as Frieza has enough blast power in his base form to destroy entire planets. So check this out. There was a time one of Frieza's underlings could destroy a planet, right? With a power level of only 18,000. So imagine how strong Frieza is in this state when his power level is 500,000. Frieza's power level goes from 500,000 to 120 million. So beings that have the power level over hundreds of times weaker than Frieza can destroy planets. He's hundreds of times past beings that can destroy planets. This form of Frieza is 200s of times stronger than that. Frieza could destroy over 500 small planets at this point. One could say dwarf star. And then that's the funny part. This form is even greater than all of that. So we're talking about maybe hundreds or even close to thousands of times past small planet shattering levels at this point. And Trunks was able to catch Frieza's attack with his bare hands. That's way past earth-shattering level at this point. This guy, Trunks, literally walks with the way past planet-shattering energy in his hand like it ain't nothing as a Super Saiyan. And chop this same being up. Cutting up Frieza like that proves that he can cut up things as durable or way more durable than planets. It doesn't matter if you're as dense as a planet, he can cut you up still with his striking power, cutting power, ki blast, all that good stuff. So it's already proven his striking power as a Super Saiyan is way past planet-shattering level. One could say already in the small star ranges already. Frieza's dad thought the sword was what gave Trunks power, but that was false because when he used the sword against Trunks, he literally catches it with his bare hands and Trunks blasts a hole in him with his blast power. So it's implied his blast power and his striking power is similar to one another because they both seem to be as potent. He can use the energy to enhance his punches, so they both go hand in hand anyway. You have to be careful with this kind of power because even in base state, beings like this can accidentally destroy the sides of buildings, or they can simply destroy entire mountains. like it ain't nothing. The amount of progress he's made is astounding as well, because there was these androids that were even stronger than Frieza. You know that being I just showed you him cut up? He couldn't even damage these androids really. Even as a Super Saiyan in his timeline, he would get handled. He would eventually get some rigorous hyperbolic time chamber training to where his strength and energy rose astronomically to the point where he fought these androids that was way stronger than Frieza, beings that way hundreds and thousands of times past planet-shattering level at this point. He pulled up on them again. Instead of the battle looking like this and going like this, Trunks straight up curb stomps them both. It didn't seem to really matter how he harmed them. He could punch them, kick them, damage them that way, or even blast these androids away to show his progress. And he does this to this android known as Cell that's supposed to absorb these androids that he just murked. He's like the anti-horror movie character where the villain thinks they're about to pull up and come in and beat everybody up, but Trunks says, nah, you getting blasted away today. It's proven that their physicals and blast are both ridiculous because, like, she's literally trying to blast him and Trunks physically swats it away thanks to his energy manipulation to be able to enhance his physicals and blast her away that way. Trunks and the Saiyans and the Super Saiyans made some drastic power increases when it comes to the first Super Saiyan mode. They went from not being able to handle androids one-on-one and literally getting their arms broken by androids with a kick, to where there was this android, right, that was able to do this to Piccolo. Keep in mind that this Piccolo was way stronger than a Super Saiyan, right? So this android known as Cell that's already this strong to do this to a Piccolo, a being that's way above your standard weakest version of a Super Saiyan, he literally eats up an android that's also stronger than a Super Saiyan, like combines his power with this android and becomes stronger than ever. You're probably thinking, ain't no way these Super Saiyans are going to be able to compete with this after all these beings that are leagues above Super Saiyan fused together. Yes, his Super Saiyan forms have increased this much to where he can straight up handle two beings that are above a standard Super Saiyan, despite them being combined in one body. Heck, he even goes as far as fighting a suppressed version of Cell that's perfected. When he has two androids, one could say three beings that are above Super Saiyan level in one body, he was still able to slug it out with a suppressed version of it. You know what I mean? And I feel bad for first form Cell. Yeah, there was a lot of different stages of this first Super Saiyan. Saying he got a power-up is an oversimplification. So now that we know their cutting, punching, kicking, and their overall blast are similar levels of power, the best way to understand Trunks' might is to look at Trunks' battle against this demon, the king of the demon being known as Deborah. This being is confirmed to be just about as mighty as this being known as Cell that they fought 7 years ago. Like the Z-Fighters fought this being known as Cell. So if there's heavy implications, both these beings, for example, have the same amount of blast power, that would mean Deborah would have to strengthen power or blast power to delete the entirety of the solar system with a blast if he had to. Because it's confirmed if Cell wanted to blast with everything he had, he could blow up the entire solar system with a blast. And if what Goku said about Deborah is true, that would mean Deborah can do something similar. You're probably thinking, oh, that's just a statement. That's not true. Well, also, if characters in the beginning of the series can destroy the planet, this point in the series, you really think they can't destroy a solar system? It just kind of adds up with the lore. And Trunks has gotten to the point where he actually could achieve Super Saiyan 2 levels of raw strength and speed. He even gets to the point where, with help, of course, he has enough blast power to actually incinerate Deborah. I mean, then you got cases like this where Trunks just straight up volley punches this guy. Their strength, speed, blast power, and everything go hand in hand. The fact that Trunks can react and counter Super Saiyan 2 level beings like Goku further implies that he's on that level with Cell or above, because Goku at this point is way above Cell. Everybody remembers when these two had a beam struggle, right? Gohan, Super Saiyan 2, teen days. You guys remember how Gohan overpowered a being that can blast away the solar system, right? It's confirmed in the Buu saga that Goku is stronger than somebody, his own son at the time, that could overpower a being that can blast away the solar system. And in raw speed, here we see Trunks, future Trunks, reacting to a Super Saiyan 2 Goku, implying that he's on that level of power or greater as well. Part of the reason he could be a match for Super Saiyan 2, like I mentioned earlier, is this sword and the training with the Kais and stuff. That's possibly a reasoning on why he was able to get so strong in the future. At this point, Trunks should be able to blast away a solar system as well. Narratively speaking, it would be weird for him to be able to fight a Super Saiyan 2 Goku and not be this strong. Considering how strong Goku got with Super Saiyan God forms, him being able to blast apart a couple of solar systems definitely fair and not a high-end showing at all. We can see him withstand a Deborah attack like this, close range. Matter of fact, on this occasion, it's implied that he probably surpassed Cell by quite a lot because he kind of curb stomped Deborah on this particular occasion. They even mentioned how did he suddenly get stronger. He's one of those races that get stronger with anger. And speaking of getting stronger with anger, Trunks gets this newer mode in newer issues or chapters that allowed him to reach a totally new level of heights. Look what he did to Deborah and Bobbity. Trunks ends up getting this mode known as Super Saiyan Rage with this blue aura BS because he got real mad or whatever. This vastly changes the game on how strong we originally thought Trunks' peak was, because this being known as Goku Black can match a Goku that's Super Saiyan Blue. You guys already know the deal, what I'm about to say. Goku in his red-haired god state was about to put the universe in jeopardy with his punches. This form is even higher than this, forms that can threaten the macrocosm universe. Trunks eventually gets to the point where he can just turn to this Super Saiyan Rage state whenever he basically feels like it, and he can match a being that can match Super Saiyan Blue level beings, like Goku Black, Super Saiyan Rose or whatever. Like, you got occasions like this that clearly prove his Super Saiyan Rage is up there with the heavy hitters, showing off his punching power against Goku Black, Super Saiyan Rose. Punching him here, punching him. So even if you want to say he's not as strong as Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Vegeta, he has to be somewhere in that ballpark, even if he was below him. Being anywhere in their ballpark is absolutely ridiculousness, because Super Saiyan God Goku, weaker forms than Blue, can shake entire universe-sized structures with their punching output. Super Saiyan Rage Trunks is somewhere within this ballpark, which would mean his strikes or blasts. Stuff like this would imply Trunks can threaten multiple universes with his blasts. Did I mention that Trunks Super Saiyan Rage, his blast, can damage Goku Black and the other being that was working with him at the time? Somebody that can rival a Super Saiyan Blue at one point in the fights. Trunks' blast actually made this being go to sleep. I mean, look at the pain in his face. Made him go night-night. I mean, the auras between these two imply that they're trying to say, even though his hair is not blue, they're trying to say he got the bluish aura. They're trying to imply he's up there with them or whatever. Your weird writing. Like, it's literally common knowledge at this point that Super Saiyan Red or Super Saiyan God is not above a Super Saiyan Blue. Trunks is contributing equally with beings, forms that are higher than forms that can put the universe in jeopardy. To make matters worse, Goku Black fused with the being, them two becoming a fusion being called Fused Zamasu, to where their power grew astronomically with an immortal body on one side. Vegeta, Super Saiyan Blue, and Trunks do a father and son Gallic gun working together, proving that Trunks is contributing equally or somewhat comparably to prove that Trunks' blast power is in that level with the gods' forms. Oh, did I fail to mention that he actually held this fusion being's blast off for a little while on his own without even Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta helping him? To further prove how mighty he is, but of course he can't do this by himself for long, but it's the fact he's even able to do this a little bit on his own shows his competence. That's a massive amount of stuff these characters can blast or put in jeopardy or freaking tremble or shake when it comes to multiple cosmos-sized structures. They can tremble. And then let's talk about the Sword of Hope. It's even mightier than everything I've showed you of basically his own spirit bomb, because he's gathering energy from everybody in the vicinity. It's because of this sword they was able to cut this fused entity in half. So at this moment, I would definitely like to believe that this Sword of Hope was probably above Super Saiyan Blue level beings. But yeah, guys, you get the idea. You know Trunks is crazy. Dragon Ball characters for you, over the topness. You already know what it is. Is it only me, or do I feel like the Spirit Bomb is underutilized? How much damage do you think this could do to some top tier beings? But before I get going, you gotta respect Trunks, but I have no choice but to say, thanks for the donations, everybody. Helps out a lot. Respect Trunks, especially future Trunks. I'm glad you are enjoying your time on the channel. Make sure you check out the playlist on the channel to see other How Strong videos. If you like what this channel is offering, make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I will see you guys later.